hey, beautiful women of God. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to talk to you today about men. And not just any men, our husbands. And so I wanted to talk to you about how, some men grow up their entire lives without being encouraged. And that really breaks my heart. It really does, because they never receive a pat on the back, and this can cause them to look down on themselves and have really low self-esteem. And it can also cause them to give up easily, no matter what it entails, whether it's work or doing projects, teaching somebody something. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It can cause them to just give up because they lack that self-worth inside of them. Because sometimes it takes us, our whole lives as somebody just leaving, little things in us, like, hey, good job, or that was really great that you said that, or just anything just to encourage them. And so they go out into the world every single day, and it's very hard for men, very hard. And as women, we don't deal with the same thing, because I feel like for girls, it's just a lot less intense for us. Like we're there for each other. And, even when you're in the grocery store, somebody may say, that looks really nice, I like your top, or just different things. We say kind things to each other. It's not like that for men. And so think about it, like every single day they leave the house, they go out into the world, and the world absolutely beats them down. Like, that is so sad to think of. And so I'm here to tell you, I am a firm believer that everyone needs words of affirmation. Everyone needs someone to build them up and point out their greatness. And so your husband's love language may be gifts, and you may fulfill that for him and get him a gift every week, or every so often. You're fulfilling that love language and taking care of him, and in your mind you're like, oh, I don't have to worry about anything else. He knows he's loved, and he may feel loved, and I'm sure he does. But what about his self-worth? If you're not encouraging him, then through words of affirmation and building him up, he may feel loved, but he may not know how special he is and how incredible of a dad he is, how awesome of a husband he is, because you're not telling him. And he needs to know that. He needs to know, like, hey, you're an incredible leader in our community, and it's up to you to build him up on a regular basis, because as your wife, you have access to him more than anyone else. And if you're not building him up, then he, like I said, he's going out into the world and he's getting beat down. People telling him things to where he doesn't feel like he's enough. And he comes home and you're doing life together and you're busy. We all are so busy these days, and I feel like we could just keep getting busier and busier, but our needs are still the same, and if you're not telling him these things, then what's to say some woman at the gas station isn't telling him, hey, you look really nice today, and that gets his attention? No, ma'am, that's not going to happen in my life. I want to be the one that tells my husband all that he is. That's my job. I'm not going to leave it for some other woman to say something, and it might be the one thing that man has heard. The one nice thing that he may have heard in months? A year? Like, that's not okay. Like, we have to change that, because it's up to us to build him up. And so it says in 1 Thessalonians 5:11, so encourage each other and build each other up, just as you are already doing. And in Proverbs 31:11-12, it says, her husband can trust her, and she will greatly enrich his life. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. The greatest way that we can enrich his life, that you can enrich your husband's life, is to pour into him by affirming who he is. Affirming him is that's powerful, because you're just building him up. You're his biggest cheerleader, okay? You are. And it's time for you to step into that role and to just build your husband up, and just pray and ask God, Lord, what areas does my husband need encouragement that I may not see? What areas does he need to hear a thank you that maybe I don't even, it could be just something that's just over my head that I'm not thinking of. Something is so simple that I just don't know, and you do, because Lord, you know us better than anyone. And so God, just help me to, know what to say to him, how to encourage him. And, for some of us, Lord, give me the courage to be able to speak up and tell him all these things, because it can be kind of awkward at first. Say that you haven't been affirming your husband, and you're like, I want to start doing this, but how do I do this? Because it might feel a little awkward. And I agree, it can be very awkward at first, but I embrace the awkwardness and just say, hey, can I admire you for a minute? Or I'll say, I'd like to admire you. And try to do it to where it's just the two of y'all. Try not to do it. I mean, yes, I firmly believe that your children need to hear, you affirming each other in front of your children. But maybe at the beginning, just for you to get the courage to do it, maybe do it when it's just the two of y'all. Maybe when you're driving in the car, or, about to go to sleep, or any time when it's just the two of y'all. Just be like, hey, I just want to affirm you for a minute. And just take that moment and just be like, if you, want some ideas of what to say, just say, I am so thankful for you, for all that you do for our family. I'm so thankful. You take care of cutting the grass or whatever he does. Everything you do. Thank you for giving the kids a bath at night. That just frees me up so much. Oh, that just brings me so much joy. Thank you for driving the kids to school. Thank you for making dinner. Thank you for picking up pizza tonight, because I had nothing left. And you just blessed me by doing that. And I just want you to know how much that meant to me, because you are so great at taking care of us. And just pour out your heart, because he cannot read your mind, sister. Let him know how grateful you are and just how wonderful he is in your life. Tell him. Just because you're married doesn't mean like, oh, end of story, like done. I don't have to keep, chasing after him, pouring into him. Wrong, sister. This is still your time to be pouring into your man and affirming who he is, building him up, and just tell him all the things. Tell him, like, I'm so grateful that you spend quality time with me. Like, you know how much that means to me, and I just thank you that you make it a point to make time for me. And thank you for how patient you are, how compassionate you are, your knowledge of God's word, whatever it is. Just pour that out into him and build him up, because he needs that. And anything you can think of, just tell him, and it's going to mean so much. And after a few times, it's not going to be as awkward, or you can have fun with it and make it awkward every time, and just be yourself and tell him anything that you notice. Or if you can't remember stuff, start jotting it down in your notes on your phone. Just jot down anytime you're like, oh, I need to tell him about that, how much that meant, anything. And I just want y'all to have that so that you can build him up, and it's gonna help you in so many ways, because you're building up that man to where it's going to just make such a difference in who he is. And in 1 Peter 2:17, it says, recognize the value of every person and continually show love to every believer. Live your lives with great reverence and in holy awe of God. Honor your rulers. And then in Psalms 139, there's a bug on me. There's a bug on me. Okay. In Psalms 139, 17 through 18, it says, how precious are your thoughts about me, O God. They cannot be numbered. I cannot even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand. And when I wake up, you are still with me. And so, sister, I just want to encourage you to just pour out into your husband. Just pour into him. Even if you need to text him a Bible verse and then write under it everything you love about him. If maybe you're not ready to tell him in person, start out by doing it in a text. Or if you need to do it over the phone, call him. Or if you want to write a card and leave it for him. You know, you could even leave it in his truck every morning, in his vehicle. Just start writing out words of affirmation and leaving it for him. Oh, sister, that's going to mean so much. So much. And just the gratitude he's going to feel for you. Oh, sister. And so by building up your husband through words of affirmation, you are building up his self-image, which is huge because we want our man to be just proud of who he is in God. And we want to affirm that. And also, you are strengthening the dad that he is by telling him. You know, he may not have had a dad that, you know, built him up. You're strengthening who he is. And that's going to pour into your children's lives as well. And also, you're strengthening, you know, the friend he is. And above all, you're strengthening your marriage. And that is the most important thing of all. We want strong marriages that are unbreakable. And I want that for you, sister. And I'm believing that for you. And so I'm so excited to be going on this journey with you. And we are building strong, unbreakable marriages. And men that know who they are in God. And so I'm so excited for y'all. And I'm so happy that we are putting our husbands, you know, we're taking care of who they are. And by affirming them, we are just building them up so that they can stand firm against the attacks of the enemy, stand firm against the attacks of this world, against all the negativity that comes their way when men try to just tear them down little by little with just little comments. We are not going to stand for that. And so we're going to build up these men because they need it. We need strong, mighty men of God today. We need it. And I have seen that so much in this world where you don't see that as much. You really don't. And maybe it starts at home in our marriages by building these men up as their cheerleaders and saying, this is who you are. And I believe in you. I'm proud of you. And I just am so excited for all that God has in store for our family. And it starts at home. And we're going to do it, sisters. And so I love you so much. And I thank you for going on this journey with me. I hope you have the best day.